Good morning, everybody. This is Newbie tackling the Ziroli Corsair. Can't believe it, but I think we're up to episode 11. And so it's been maybe a year, not sure, but it's been quite a while since I've had all the flaps on the plane and the servos installed, and a number of things have happened since the last time I've done that a year ago. So all the shrouds are on, all these little fairings and cosmetic bits and glassing and priming and. So it was time to do something like final fitting and checking, make sure that everything worked and that the mechanics are operating properly. So I've got everything hooked up and working now, and here we'll come down to mid flap, which is something like 27.38 degrees, and full flaps, which is something like 52.58 degrees, and then all the way up. That is so cool. It's been quite a challenge. My push rods, the servos are in there, and those push rods have been a real pain. They hook up to the front of the flap here, and I'll show you that in a second, through a screw that comes in from the end. So you've got to connect the push rod to the flap, and then install the flap, and then feed the push rod through up to here, and then install the push rod onto that servo arm without dropping any of the hardware in the hole, which cannot be done without dropping some hardware in the hole at least 18 times before you actually manage to get it onto the servo arm and the servo successfully. I know this because it's taken me at least 4 hours just to put these two servo arms and those push rods in place. So one thing I know for sure is that I'm really good at building mouse traps. Both servos are connected to a JR match box. This allows me to match up the endpoint where they are right now at neutral. And then what the servo thinks is neutral, which is right here, which is the middle flap position, half flap position, and then full flaps. And one of the things we can see, we go under here, there we can see the that flap connection, and we've got to get a bolt through that ball link and screw it into the flap in order for before we can actually install the flap and that push rod into the wing. Might be a little bit easier if I had made the hole in the wing a hell of a lot bigger, big enough to fit my servo arm through, but that thing is a spar, so I didn't want to keep making the hole bigger and bigger. And right now I kind of like the way it looks. So I'm going to leave it the way it is. See if I can reach this switch. We'll go to up, and there it is. It's all disappearing. Bye-bye. There it is. All gone. You'll notice I've got it on a pretty slow deploy. I've flown a lot of scale planes, and some guys set up their flaps to pretty much bang down into position, and I've seen it on planes I've flown, I've seen it on planes being flown by other people, but they deploy flaps and there's usually a pretty big trim change or attitude change. You can tell pretty easily when the flaps have been deployed. I'm going to try and I've got these on a 5-second delay. The hope is that this will help minimize that visual impact of seeing the flaps deploy. Because hopefully someday I might compete with this thing, and I don't want it to be bouncing around as the flaps come banging down into position, potentially affecting one of my scores. So anyway, I'm pretty happy right now. These are working pretty good. You can see that everything that I've got that is ready for panel line, priming, and all that kind of nonsense, everything's marked with a done, done, done. And now that I've got them hooked up and working, I would say they are done squared. Alright, happy boy. Saturday morning. That's all I got for now. Later.